Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Optimism. This is going to be a lower time frame video. We do have a higher time frame video up above, so check that out if you want more context of the moves we're going to be discussing within this video. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so we're going to be focusing in on this top bit of this move here within this video. And basically what we are looking for is a couple of options here. We could potentially be looking for a bigger ABC pattern, looking for this white blue wave, looking to come down into this 141 to this 119 area before continuation to the upside for a C wave. Or alternatively here within this, we need to be careful that we are not looking to actually break down from this position, looking for a fifth wave to the downside, which would potentially push us towards the 77 to the 61.7 as a possible target. Now, if we are looking at this move to the upside, the only bullish way we can look at it is if we do have something like a diagonal pattern here. So we're looking out for this potential that we could still see these levels hold here, and we could still look to push to the upside. So let's get into those lower degree counts now and see what's going on. So the first thing that I want to talk about here is that idea of this being a corrective structure to the downside. Now, what this would be looking for is effectively this move being an A wave here, looking at this as a B, and then looking for a C wave to the downside. Now, our 1-to-1 would actually be here at this $1.36, and what we'd be looking for here would be a 5-wave structure to the downside, looking to complete this. Now, the way that I'm currently looking at this, we can potentially argue that within this count we have this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this would already be completed into this level. Now, if this is the case, what we could be looking for is a wave 2 to the upside. Invalidation of the C wave down comes by moving back above this $1.63. So we're looking for a 3-wave move to the upside. Typical rejection area is this 160 to this 156. So if we just see 3 waves up here and we fail to break back above this 786 level, what we could then be looking for is the potential to see price start to break to the downside. Now, this could either be A, B, and C, which we look to target out this 1-to-1, or alternatively, this could become a bigger 5-wave structure where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to the downside. Now, this would actually align with coming quite nicely here into our 1-to-1, which would be here at this $1.36. Now, this could technically mean that the move is then completed to the downside, and we look to actually reverse back to the upside here. But we also need to be cautious that this could just become A, B, and then we still look for a move to the downside. So the key thing here is, as if we do get a 5-wave move down like this, we're going to have to be cautious around this zone of this 157 to this 150 level, because we could still get that idea of a bigger breakdown where this becomes 1, 2, and then we start to break down in a bigger 5-wave move. So if we do move down into these levels, we just need to be careful that we don't look to cross this 1618, which would be here at this 121. Otherwise, we could actually have this move from further back here being 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to the downside. So we need to just be a little bit cautious that this $1.21, if we do move down to that level, we've got to be careful of 4th and 5th waves to the downside with that idea. Now, there is another way of looking at this where we could say that this C wave is, rather than looking at this as a diagonal to start, we could say that there is some extension within here. So we're going to come in and focus on this. Now, what we could also have here is that this could be 1, 2, this could be 1, 2, and we have another 1, 2 here. So if we are looking at it rather in this way and we fail to break back above this 155, we could get this develop as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this would be the first move we need to see confirm this idea. We'd have to be looking for a move down towards this 144, and then we'd be getting a 4th and a 5th down into this 143 to this 142 area. Now, if we do move down into these zones, if we only get 3 waves back to the upside here, what we could get is a 3-wave structure back into this zone of this 149 to this 146, and then see continuation down. Once we lose this low here, this move can't be extending to the upside anymore. So this will be the key thing here. If we do move down past the low that we have here towards this 141, it becomes more likely we're going to see this move continue to break to the downside. So effectively within this, what we'd be looking for is the white count to play out first, whether we get this additional 4th and a 5th in the blue count. And if we do, we'd then be looking out for that possible rejection again between this 150 and this 145, looking for this additional 5th wave to the downside, looking to take us towards this 1399 to this 137 as a possible target. Now, as with the previous idea here, what we're going to have to be careful of is that if we do get a 5-wave move down like this, if we get 5 down and we only get 3 up, we could be looking for that continuation to the downside. So the key thing is here within this lower level here, if we do move into this target box, so we have effectively 3 waves to the upside, failing to break above this 157 to this 150 level could actually indicate we still see continuation to the downside. So we need to just be careful of that idea. Now, if we are looking at that potential that we could look to break to the upside here one more time, what we could be looking for is something along these lines here. Now, what we'd be saying is that within this move here, we have an A wave, and what we're looking for is a corrective move to the downside here. So if we fail to achieve that impulsive structure here, what we could actually just have is that this is a W wave here, this is an X, and we're still looking for A, B, and C. Now, our common support area, so this would be looking for that upside potential. If we lose 144, it becomes less likely that we're going to see this continuation up. But for as long as we remain above that, we have actually come into this area. So we need to be just aware that this could also be W, X, and A, B, and C. And this is already completed. So, we need to just be on the lookout because we have come into this target box. But we need to see a break of these highs for confirmation of that. So we're going to have to just be a bit patient with that. If this is, however, W, X, and then Y, what we're looking for is an ABC pattern down. So if we do see this as A, we get a B wave up, we don't cross this high and we continue down, I will be looking out towards this golden pocket area, this 1493 to this 1486 as a possible zone we could look to travel into. As well as that, if we do push down lower, 1-to-1 would bring us towards this 146. Now, our 1-to-1 of this as a W, X, and a Y is actually lower down here at this 144, which would align with coming into this 0.854 retracement here. And if we do see this level hold, effectively what we could be looking for is just a 3-wave move to the upside. If we get A, B, and then we see a C wave up towards this 169 level. Alternatively, if we do start to break above this 185 zone, what we could actually have is an extension in here where this becomes 1, 2, 3. We'd be looking for a 4th and a 5th at that point. And this would be implying that effectively this move is starting to extend to the outside, but we need to have good structure here within the waves to confirm that. Having a look at the daily CPR lines here, what we can see is that we are currently below our central lines. Now, this means that these could potentially be resistance if we do move up into these zones. We have already rejected off of these. And if we do look to continue to move to the downside, possible targets for today would be this 149. We have this 145, we have this 139, and this level here of this 135. Now, price can move through these zones. These are just potential pivot points if we do see price move back into those areas. If this is a completed move into this low, and we see price get back above these lines, what we could potentially see is a move back up to some of these higher targets, which would be this 159. We have this level here of this 164. We have this 169 and this higher zone here of this 174 as possible targets to the upside. But we'd need to reclaim these central lines first in order to be looking for that possibility. So if we do see that push to the downside here for that C wave, this would align with some of these targets here. Particularly the lower one, this S4 line at this 135 could be a possible zone that we look to target out. Now, if we're going to have a look at the weekly pivots here, what we can see is that we are currently still above these weekly pivots. Now, this is a good sign. As long as we are above these, we do have the potential. We could see price be gravitated to the upside here. So this target of this 172 would align quite nicely with this idea of this ABC to the upside. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. Other targets to the upside here are this 195. We have this 127 as upside targets for this week. If we do, however, start to retrace here, we could potentially still find support here between this 145 and this level over here of this 137. So going to be keeping an eye on this, particularly if this is going to be a corrective move. This lower line aligns with coming back and forming a double bottom here. Going to be keeping an eye on that. If we do look to retrace deeper down and we lose these CPR lines, what we could potentially see is a retest of this S1 line here at this 179. We have this lower level here of this 186, and we do also have this lower level here of this 63 as possible targets for this week if we start to lose these central lines. Now, moving over here and going on to the monthly, what we can see is that we are currently above our central CPR lines. Now we have moved up here and we have hit this R1 line. So what I'm just being cautious of is if we fail to hold this support zone here, we could still look for price to come back down lower and possibly look to retest these central lines here between this 129 and this 122. Now these are going to be potential support zones. If we do see price come back into this level, we could find support here in that idea of seeing an additional push to the upside where this becomes ABC, and then we see another push up that would align with that idea, in which case what we could see is still the possibility of looking to retest some of these higher levels this month, which would be this 191 and this $2.28 for as long as we are above these central lines. Now if we do look to move down here and we look to lose this level, possible downside targets for this month would actually be this 179, and then we also do have lower targets here towards the 60 cents, and the lowest target that we have for this month is this 31. Now we don't always have to hit these targets. These are just potential pivot points within the market if price moves into them. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.